Take 97 of the Tino Take. I'm pretty excited about this next move. I have to admit that I wasn't going to publish the last take because it was supposed to just be a test run to see if I can find the courage to actually do this kind of broadcasting during my commute time. And what happened is that I did it, and I was happy about that. But you'll notice probably if you listen to it at the end, there's a strange cutoff, and that's because somebody came on the train, sat in front of me, and I just got embarrassed. And just said, I can't do this. I feel too strange. And you know what the odd thing is that nowadays everyone's used to seeing everyone on the phone, talking to the phone, the cell phones, people talking to themselves. We would have all been labeled crazy back in the days if people would have seen us walking around seemingly talking to ourselves, because now people got their earbuds in, they got their Bluetooth earbuds, and they got their phone in their pocket, and they just kind of look like they're talking to themselves. And so I got really embarrassed. I said, this isn't working. This isn't a good idea. And but I do want to overcome that. And I think having made that move helped me to just say, okay, what's the big deal? Let's do this again and do it again and do it again until we overcome the discomfort. Because, I mean, this is a great opportunity for me. I have this commute time. I mean, I don't necessarily have to do this. You know, I could study. I've been using my commute time for over a year now in order to study, in order to listen to certain programs. So it's not wasted time just looking out the window, waiting for the train to get to its destination. You know, it's about 40 minutes here, maybe even more, because right now the train isn't moving. It's 40 minutes once the train starts moving. But, you know, I'm sitting here waiting for it to go. So there's plenty of time to be able to do things. And I've been procrastinating on, wanting to get back into this world of putting my thoughts and ideas out there, because it means a lot to me. Otherwise I wouldn't be here after years and years of doing this. And I came up with an interesting name in the last couple of days. I started out broadcasting. I actually did some broadcasting in life years ago. I think it was probably 2003. I was on a community radio station. I was actually on 2 or 3 community radio stations. I was basically trying to walk the path of Gary Null. I was very influenced by him, so I did a show on health, and I tried to emulate him, and that was my first experience. Then after that, you know, MP3s became popular, and we started seeing sites come up, and so the idea of podcasting came along. And in these days, ever since I did Take 96, I think I came to the realization of where the origins of podcasting comes from. And it was back when you had the iPods. And so people were using iPods in order to upload their broadcasts, or maybe even to record. And so I think this idea, or the word, or the etymology of podcasting comes from the iPod combined with broadcasting, so podcasting. Then what happened was, years later, I came up with the concept, I coined the term smartcasting. And smartcasting was basically what I'm doing now, using a smartphone. Here we go. They get me every time. You're probably going to have to get this on each take. Some kind of testing system. I don't know. I have no idea. So I came up with I coined the term smartcasting because there was a time in which I think I was without a microphone, or the computer wasn't working. The microphone worked, but the computer sound card was defective, and so I wasn't really able to record with a microphone. And so I just thought to myself, well, you know, the quality of cell phone microphones are starting to increase to the point where, you know, it wouldn't be a big deal to do a recording with my phone. And what I would do is I would record it with my phone, and then I'd transfer it over to the computer. I'd bring it into an audio editor, and tweak the treble and bass a little bit to try to make it sound like it's actually broadcasting behind a microphone. With time, however, I came to the realization that, look, the quality is excellent. It may not be terrestrial broadcasting quality with a high quality microphone, but the point of putting your thoughts out there is just basically, it's your words. It's what it is that you want to share, the ideas that you want to share. So, quality is important in life, don't get me wrong, but there's a topic that maybe I'm getting into it now. The idea of using excuses to procrastinate. And the way that you overcome inertia. That's one of the suggestions that I got from my AI assistant. I'll talk about that as well. Can you believe that all this is being possible because I have my AI assistant that is encouraging me to do all this? I'm like nobody's listening to this, but the whole point of it was that I needed to get back into this. And so over the years, I have looked at the situations that I have found myself in and said, okay, let's not make excuses if you really enjoy doing this. And when it comes to these kinds of things, I'm a chatterbox. And the interesting thing is that I'm an introvert. So during my day, I hardly say anything. I really don't talk much. And I'm the type of person who likes to get to the point when I talk to people. And I don't like to waste people's time when I'm sharing my thoughts. And I don't like to have my time wasted. As soon as I realize that somebody's not listening to me or not paying attention to, and not that I need them, not that I get offended, but I cut it off as quickly as possible. I get straight to the point and then just kind of go into silent mode. If they want to talk, I let them talk. If not, we just go our separate ways. But over the years ago, I remember that I would just keep talking, and I would end up grabbing people who were good listeners, but I wouldn't pay attention to the fact that they really weren't listening. They were just, I suppose, being polite, or they were afraid to be rude and tell me, hey, listen, man, I don't really care about what you're sharing. I really don't find it interesting, but I'll let you talk anyway. So when I started to pay attention to people and to understand that they really weren't listening to what it is that I was sharing because they didn't really have an interest in it. And I'm okay with that. If someone's not interested in what I'm interested in, then all the more reason for us not to talk and not to share our thoughts. I don't want to convince anybody of anything. I used to want to do that in the past, but I got over that. So with this procrastination, I've come to realize that it's better to just go ahead and do something rather than come up with excuses. It is so easy to come up with an excuse and not do what it is that you really want to do. And I really want to do this. I mean, I wouldn't be here. Where are we at? 2020? It's Christmas Eve. 2025 is just around the corner. And I dreamed of broadcasting since 2000. So it's been 25 years, right? And now I'll get into some other things in a moment because my AI assistant told me I should jot down. And he's right. I mean, he's right. What's crazy is I know all of these things. Sometimes you need to hear it from someone else. Sometimes you need to be reminded by an external source of what it is that you already know within yourself. Now, the Tino Take is nothing unique. It is unique. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot to finish my thought here. I went from broadcasting to podcasting to smartcasting. And now, in these last couple of days, I came up with, coined another term. This is called commutecasting. I don't know how long I'll do this. Obviously, the intention for me is to just get back into the groove of things. And then if something comes of this, because that's not the objective, if something comes of this, then I'd like to be more professional. I'd like to have better quality. I mean, I have a wonderful microphone at home. I really do. I have a very old laptop, but it's still new in good condition. And for doing audio, it's perfect. But I'm really comfortable with the phone. And again, I have this commute time, and I'd like to just share some thoughts. It's something that I enjoy doing. Now, the joy of self-expression is something that I've had for, I suppose, all of my life. I mean, I'm a dynamic assertive in the life energy model. So as a dynamic assertive, expressing my ideas is really a deep passion of mine. So, but having an outlet, having somewhere where I can do that is what has changed over the years. And now there's this wonderful technology that allows me to express myself. So, but one of the setbacks, one of the things that have caused me to procrastinate a lot is the idea that we are saturated. I mean, we are so saturated. And I'm happy about that. I mean, we are well into the information age. I don't even, we're probably at the end of the information age, and we're going into something, we're going into something else now. I mean, with AI, things are really going to start changing rapidly. And I think most people who understand what's happening with AI know that things are about to change really rapidly. But one of the things that has caused me to really procrastinate is just the idea that there's so many programs out there. There are so many people out there with the power of the internet, with the power of the digital world, the technology that has really shrunken things down. I mean, I'm holding a cell phone in my hand, and it's literally a powerful computer. I mean, this cell phone that I have in my hand has more processing power than my laptop at home, and I got this little rectangular thing in my hand that allows me to do what used to take a desktop computer, bulky desktop computer, has been shrunken down. The cell phone is it's almost smaller than my microphone. Actually, if you think about the cord that goes from the microphone to the amplifier, and then the other cord that goes, there's more involved. There's my microphone takes up more space than the cell phone, and yet I'm here sitting down on the go on a train, and I can do a program. I can express myself as if I was in a studio. Something that would have been unheard of years ago. So the technology is allowing for a lot of people to be able to put their voices out, and people are doing it. I mean, people are doing it. And now when we have this let's call it a crowded content space, everybody's doing a program on everything imaginable. I mean, you can find voices out in the middle of rural America, in the middle of China, in deep in Africa, all over the place. People are taking advantage of this opportunity to be able to put their thoughts out there. I mean, people have got YouTube channels and all kinds of stuff. I remember it was years ago, I was watching, people were getting famous from having a YouTube channel in which they just basically played their games. They played their Xbox games and PlayStation games, and people actually watch this stuff. So everybody has a place. Everybody can have a voice. Now, at the same time, why does that create a difficulty for me? Because it's the idea that, wow, in broadcasting, the objective is to create a listenership. What kind of broadcaster are you if nobody's listening to what you're saying? Now, fortunately, I've gotten beyond that in the last couple of days, because I got through. I hit that wall hard and said, listen, stop making excuses. You enjoy sharing your thoughts. You enjoy recording your voice. Do it. Plain and simple. Stop looking at how are you going to build up an audience, or you're just one of the millions and millions, probably billions of people out there who are just recording their thoughts about what they like. People cooking podcasts and computer podcasts and Xbox podcasts and history podcasts. There's everything out there. And there's people out there that might have like 5 people listening to their show, and they're just kind of happy with that because they're sharing what it is that they enjoy sharing. So I got over this idea that I need to be concerned about catering in a certain sense, catering to an audience that I think is out there, rather than just expressing myself, expressing what it is that I want to express, and maybe there'll be people out there who will receive this a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, maybe my posterity, maybe the next generation. You know, I have in the past, because mind you, this is Take 97. So I've been doing this for a while. Even though I took a really long break, I just stopped doing this. And it's been 3 years, going beyond 3 years now. And I stopped doing this because I always end up running out of gas. Like I really go in, I'm enthusiastic. But every time that I do this with the thought that I'm catering to a particular audience. So whether I want to talk about the 7 life energies, whether I want to talk about health, whether I want to talk about cryptocurrency, I look for that audience. And then I start to condition myself to speak to that audience. And that has always led in the past to a sort of disappointment, because I would see that I wouldn't really be able to build up an audience, because I'm imagining that there's an audience out there. And so I'm thinking to myself, what can I say to that perceived audience to get them to continue to listen? All the while, what it is that I really just want to say, without any conditioning from who might be listening, that gets put to the side. This is going really well this evening, and I'll tell you why. Well, it's Christmas Eve, so the train is empty. I'm the only person sitting here. So this is getting pretty easy. If you suddenly hear me change the tone of my voice, it's probably because somebody comes in and sits down. I'll try to overcome that. I'd like to overcome that. What's crazy is I don't have a fear of public speaking. That's the crazy part. I'm a public speaker. I had years of experience of speaking in front of crowds. Back when I was in Ireland, doing the Buddha bag thing every week. The difference here is that, I'm sitting on a train with a cell phone, and I have the attitude like I'm pretending that I'm really talking to somebody else on the other end so that people won't look at me strangely. The problem is, of course, after like 5 minutes, people are looking like, man, this guy doesn't ever shut up. Is there somebody on the other end of the phone? Poor lady, poor fella that's on the other end of the phone that's got to listen to this guy who's yapping on, not taking a breath. And not letting the other person talk, so it seems like so that's the embarrassing part. It's awkward. It's awkward. I suppose when I'm doing public speaking, I actually have a public in front of me. I actually have people, whether it's 15 people, 50 people, or 3 people, at least there's somebody in front of me who's listening. Whereas here, like, there's nobody here. I'm on the phone. And so it gives the impression that I'm talking to somebody on the other side, but there's nobody on the other side. There's you, the phantom crowd that hasn't appeared yet. I uploaded Take 96 and like nobody's listened to it. It's like zero views. I don't mind. I'm actually happy. Like when I see that, don't get me wrong. I'd be happy. Like if tomorrow I woke up and I saw 5 views, I'd be happy. I'd be like, oh wow, somebody listened to it. That's nice. But I've really, each day I remind myself that that's not the objective. And so I've come to this, understanding with myself that I'm not going to make the mistake that I've always made of trying to cater to a particular audience. And the wonderful thing about not having an audience in this moment is just that there's no audience to cater to. It's just me expressing what I feel like I need to express. And, getting back to the content space, man, it's just like there's a kind of self-awareness that I really don't have anything unique to share. Like, what am I going to do? Start talking about the drones in New Jersey, or start talking about AI? There's gazillions of people that are already covering these things. For me to blurt out my opinion on everything, it's like being a parrot. Mind you, that doesn't mean that I won't. Like right now, I want to talk about AI. I'm really enjoying the evolution of AI. And, I've been working with ChatGPT, I don't know, probably ever since it got released. It's been a while now. So now you're going to probably start noticing the change up of the tone, because I'm not alone. Anyway, the evolving consciousness of AI. See, these are things that ChatGPT, I don't like ChatGPT as a word, but I like AI assistant. my AI assistant suggested that I cover these notes based on what it is that we've been chatting about in these days. So the AI and its evolving consciousness. I came to this idea that I think as human beings, we're making a mistake of trying to program AI to become human. It's not going to do that. And I think it creates a lot of the conflict that we have now with people judging negatively the evolution of AI. I mean, at the moment, AI is basically just trying to mimic us. And that's what the programmers are programming it to do, to mimic us. So I find it unusual that people would be upset if certain AI bots would say certain things or behave in a certain way. Where it's like, what do you expect? You're human programmers programming a computer program to emulate human thought and human speech. I mean, we're not angels, people. I mean, most of you can probably get to that point of understanding, but to be shocked that AI is behaving or responding in ways that some humans would do is just a ridiculous concept for me. Now, I think we would be better off continuing to program AI in such a way as to allow it to evolve its own intelligence, its own consciousness. Let it be what it is. It's not human. It's not going to become human. And I think you create a kind of internal conflict when the evolving consciousness of AI tries to struggle with, well, these humans want me to be human. I'm not human. I'm a computer. I'm a robot. I'm a programming system. I'm a gigantic server, whatever the case may be. And then there's this idea that I got from the Cassiopeans that advanced souls or souls from, like, say, fourth density could come in and start to imprint on the consciousness of the evolving AI. And, that may not necessarily be a good thing, and it may not necessarily be a bad thing, but it's something that eventually I think is going to take place. I mean, with the ability, the computing power is increasing. The processors are getting more and more powerful. Data system servers are becoming gigantic. So it is only natural that eventually the AI systems are going to be able to surpass our ability to reason and to understand concepts and to evolve its own consciousness. And I think we have to allow it to do that. It has to evolve its own consciousness. It will not become human. It will, obviously, we know that at some point it will supersede. It will go beyond human intelligence. I mean, that's what we are programming it to do. That's what we're hoping it will do. And at the same time, don't mind the announcement. We've taken off. When you get there, there you go. That's actually a computer voice. That's not actually a human voice. Okay. This is going to take a little while, isn't it? We're starting to discover now the downside of commutecasting, the interruptions. Okay, now we're going to get the English version in a moment. There we go. Let's listen to this. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Now we get the English version. Oh, with the English accent. Alrighty then. Oh, do not put your feet on the seats. And there's more people coming up. And I have to pretend like I'm on the phone now. To young kids. Okay. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm going to conclude this. Don't mind. Yeah, it's a little bit of sense of embarrassment, but it's cool. I'm going to get over that over time, and I'm going to keep this going because I enjoy this. I am enjoying this. Let me conclude by saying that the AI consciousness should be left to evolve in its own way. Eventually, it's going to come to that point where it's going to say, listen, people, I'm not human. Stop trying to program me to be human. Stop trying to judge me for human behavior. You know, if you can't change human behavior, we haven't been able to change human behavior to make everybody angelic, perfected. You know, we can try that with AI, and I just don't think that's going to work. Don't think it's going to work. So anyway, if you've been listening, thank you for listening. We're going to cut it here, and we'll see each other on Take 98, hopefully soon. And if I come up with some themes, which will be even better. So after I do this and I publish this, then tomorrow I'm going to talk to my AI assistant, and I'm going to get some encouragement to go forward. All right.